Okay, let's jump right in. We're taking a deep dive today into Psalms chapter 2,
Hmm.
and it really throws you straight into this pretty intense question right from the start.
It really does. No messing around.
Why are the nations, raging? Why are people plotting things that seem completely futile?
Yeah, it paints this picture, doesn't it? Kings, rulers, all getting together.
Right, like forming this united front. And it's specifically aimed against the Lord and his anointed one.
And what's really interesting, I think, is why they're doing it. The psalm tells you their motive pretty clearly.
It's not just vague opposition.
No, not at all. It's very specific. They actually say, let us break their chains and throw off their fetters.
Fetters, yeah. So they feel constrained, bound.
Exactly. They feel like divine rule, the Lord's authority, his anointed's role. It's like chains holding them back.
And they want freedom from that. That's the goal.
That's what they're aiming for, but the reaction from, well, from heaven is not what you might expect.
Definitely not panic, right? While they're busy plotting down here.
He laughs. The one enthroned in heaven, the text says, he just laughs. He scoffs at them.
Which sounds almost dismissive, but it's more about confidence, absolute power.
I think so. It signals that their conspiracy from that divine viewpoint is just completely ineffective.
Yeah.
Hopeless, really.
But then the mood shifts fast. It goes from laughter to, well, something much more intense.
Oh, yeah. He speaks to them in his wrath, terrifies them. It's a very sharp contrast to their, earthly scheming.
Total opposite. And then comes this declaration.
Yes, a divine decree that just cuts right through their plans. The Lord says basically, forget your plotting. I have set my king.
On Zion, my holy hill. So, despite the rebellion, God's plan is already happening. His chosen king is being established.
Exactly. And this king, he's identified in this incredibly significant way.
As the Son. You are my son. Today I have begotten you.
Which is huge. It's not just a metaphor, like he's like a son to me. It's this declaration of a unique status, a unique relationship, inherent authority.
Tied to who he is. And the
Yeah.
authority he's given is, well, it's immense.
Staggering, really.
Yeah.
The Father promises him the nations, everything, the ends of the earth, as his inheritance.
And the description of his rule is pretty forceful. A rod of iron, dashing pieces like pottery.
Right. It's not gentle coaxing. It's absolute power, crushing any continued opposition. It directly counters their desire to break chains by showing an authority that cannot be broken. So, okay, you've got the futile rebellion, the divine laughter, the unstoppable king, and then the psalm kind of pivots, doesn't it?
It does. It turns and speaks directly to those kings and rulers.
Like a warning.
An urgent one, yeah. Now, therefore, be wise, O kings, be warned, O rulers of the earth. It's like saying, look at the reality here. Continuing to fight is unwise.
So what's the wise alternative?
It lays it out. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. And then kiss the Son.
That phrase, kiss the sun, that's pretty loaded, culturally speaking, right?
Absolutely. In that context, it wasn't just, a greeting. It was a gesture of homage, submission, recognizing someone's authority as ruler. So submit to the Son's authority, align with him instead of fighting him.
That's the call. Because the alternative is stark.
Yeah, it says, lest he be angry and you perish in the way, for his wrath is quickly kindled. It's a serious warning.
Very serious. The danger of staying in opposition is made crystal clear. But crucially, it doesn't just end on judgment.
Right, there's that final line, that alternative path, after all the talk of wrath and destruction.
It ends with blessing. Blessed are all who take refuge in him.
Such a shift. From facing this overwhelming power as an enemy to finding safety in that very power.
It sums up the whole thing, really. The earthly rulers trying to throw off what they see as chains.
Only to find divine laughter, an enthroned king, and unstoppable power.
And then this choice is presented. Keep fighting and face destruction, or find blessing, find safety, by taking refuge in the very Son they were trying to overthrow.
So for you listening, Psalms 2 paints this picture where real power isn't in human strategy or rebellion. It's rooted in God's decree, his Son's authority. It challenges that idea that freedom means ditching divine limits.
Which leads us to a final thought, maybe something for you to consider, especially when you feel up against something huge or hemmed in, kind of like those rulers. What does it actually look like practically, day to day, to take refuge in him? What does that mean for you?